I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like, everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
It started off as just another quiet night for Iman Shumpert. The basketball star was home, trying to focus on his next move in life after months of rumors, breakups, and social media chaos. But that night, everything changed, because what he didn't know was that someone from his past, someone he thought he'd never have to deal with again, was lurking right outside his home. And when he realized who it was, the situation turned from confusion to pure fear. People who know Iman know he's not the kind of guy to overreact. He's calm, collected, and usually handles things privately. But this time, what he saw was so unsettling that even he couldn't keep quiet. Reports say that around midnight, Iman noticed something strange outside. His security cameras picked up a shadowy figure near his driveway, pacing back and forth. At first, he thought it might be a fan or a random trespasser. But when the person stepped into the light, Iman froze. It was Aaron, the man whose name had been quietly circling Iman's life for months. Someone tied to the same messy rumors involving Teyana Taylor, Iman's ex. That same Aaron who'd allegedly been getting too close to Iman's family business, and whose behavior had been raising red flags behind the scenes. At first, Iman didn't want to believe it. Why would Aaron be outside his house? How did he even know where he lived? But it wasn't a coincidence. According to people close to the situation, Aaron had been reaching out to people connected to Iman for weeks, trying to make peace, as he called it. But there's a thin line between trying to fix things and crossing into obsession, and apparently, Aaron didn't know the difference. The story really takes a dark turn when Iman reportedly confronted Aaron outside. Instead of leaving, Aaron allegedly started shouting, saying things about Teyana, their past relationship, and how the truth needed to come out. Imagine that moment. It's late at night, your kids are home, and a man you barely trust is screaming outside your house about your personal life. Iman was done playing nice. Sources close to Iman say he immediately called the police. But by the time officers arrived, Aaron had already disappeared. That's when Iman made the decision that shocked everyone. He filed for a restraining order. And when the details of that order became public, fans couldn't believe what they were reading. According to the filing, Iman claimed he felt unsafe and harassed. He alleged that Aaron's behavior had become unpredictable, and that the incident outside his home wasn't the first time he'd felt watched or followed. It wasn't paranoia, it was real. Neighbors had also reported seeing a car parked outside the property several times in the last month, the same make and model Aaron drives. Once that hit social media, the internet exploded. Fans started piecing together old posts, cryptic lyrics, and interviews that suddenly started making sense. One tweet from a few weeks earlier, where Iman said, "Peace isn't possible when you're surrounded by chaos," started trending again, with fans realizing it might have been a warning about what was going on behind the scenes. But while Iman was trying to protect his peace, Teyana Taylor was caught in the middle. Some fans blamed her, saying she brought drama into Iman's life. Others defended her, saying she had no control over what Aaron did. Either way, it was messy. And to make it worse, Aaron started posting vague messages online after the restraining order news broke. Things like, "Truth always surfaces," and "You can't silence me forever." Now, let's pause for a second, because this is where it gets really strange. Before this whole incident, there had been quiet whispers that Aaron and Teyana had stayed in touch after she and Iman split. Some said they were working on a creative project. Others claimed there was something more personal there. But whatever that connection was, it clearly didn't end well. When Iman filed the restraining order, insiders said he did it not just for himself, but for his family, to draw a line in the sand. Because the last thing he wanted was his kids growing up in the middle of someone else's obsession. But here's where the story twists again. Just days after the restraining order became public, Aaron did something shocking. He went live on Instagram, and instead of denying what happened, he basically admitted he was outside Iman's house, but tried to flip the story. He claimed he was there to have a man-to-man conversation, not to cause harm. He said he was tired of lies and that he just wanted to clear his name, but the internet wasn't buying it. The live stream, which racked up thousands of views before being deleted, only made things worse. People could see how emotional, almost erratic Aaron was. He was sweating, pacing around, talking fast, and at one point he said something that made everyone's jaw drop. She told me things, he said. Things he wouldn't want anyone to know. That one line set off a storm. What did he mean? Was he implying Tayana told him private information about Iman? Or was he bluffing, trying to stir up more attention? Nobody knew for sure. But one thing was clear. The situation was getting dangerous. A few days later, TMZ reported that Iman had increased his security detail. Cameras, extra guards, the works. Friends close to him said he was done taking chances. And while some people joked online about how dramatic it sounded, others pointed out that when someone crosses boundaries like that, it's no longer just gossip, like it's a real threat. And honestly, when you think about Iman's history, from being a respected NBA player to a dedicated father and husband, you can feel how deeply personal this must have been. This wasn't about fame or ego. This was about safety. Meanwhile, Aaron's reputation took a serious hit. Brands started distancing themselves from him. Some of his recent collaborations were quietly pulled from streaming platforms. And the people who once hyped him up suddenly went silent. Because in Hollywood, once you cross a certain line, there's no going back. But what's wild is that even after all that, Aaron didn't stop talking. He kept posting cryptic messages about truth, forgiveness, and redemption. Some fans began to worry about his mental state, while others accused him of trying to manipulate the public for sympathy. Iman, on the other hand, stayed mostly quiet. No long posts, no interviews, just silence. Which, in a way, said more than words ever could. Because when someone decides to protect their peace, sometimes silence is the loudest response. Still, the public wanted answers. What exactly happened between Aaron, Tayana, and Iman that led to this breaking point? Some claimed it started way before the breakup, back when Iman was still trying to save his marriage. Rumors say that while things were crumbling privately, Tayana leaned on certain people emotionally, and one of them might have been Aaron. If that's true, it explains a lot. The tension, the resentment, and why Iman might have felt betrayed enough to completely cut ties. Not just with Tayana, but with anyone connected to that part of his life. But despite all the drama, one thing everyone agrees on is that Iman's move to file the restraining order was about setting boundaries. It was him saying, enough. Because when someone shows up outside your house uninvited, no matter who they are, that's not just drama. That's danger. And honestly, it's heartbreaking when you think about how things used to be. Iman and Tayana were once one of the most admired couples in entertainment. Their chemistry, their family moments, their music videos, they had the kind of love people rooted for. But like so many celebrity relationships, the pressure, the rumors, and the constant spotlight eventually tore them apart. Now, with Aaron's actions adding fuel to the fire, it's like watching the final cracks of something that once looked unbreakable. Fans who once followed them for inspiration now watch in disbelief as the story turns darker by the day. Recently, someone close to Iman shared that he's been spending more time with his daughters and staying off social media as much as possible. He's reportedly focusing on rebuilding his peace, working on music quietly, and surrounding himself with people who truly support him. Aaron, on the other hand, seems to be spiraling. Despite the restraining order, he's still been spotted around certain events where he knows the cameras will find him, almost like he wants to stay relevant through the chaos. But that kind of energy never ends well, because at the end of the day, fame fades, but your actions, they stick forever. And for Aaron, that might be the hardest lesson to learn. Now, people are wondering if this whole ordeal might push Iman to finally speak out publicly. Maybe not with words, but through his art. He's always expressed himself through music, and insiders say he's been writing again. Maybe one day we'll hear his side, raw, honest, and unfiltered. But until then, one thing's for sure. That night changed everything. Because in one terrifying moment, Iman realized just how thin the line between fame and fear really is. And while the internet loves drama, sometimes it's easy to forget that behind every headline is a real person, with a real family, just trying to feel safe in their own home. Whether Aaron ever faces legal consequences for his actions remains to be seen. But what's clear is that Iman isn't backing down. His message is simple. Protect your peace no matter who you have to distance yourself from to do it. And maybe that's the lesson in all of this. Because no matter how famous you are, peace of mind is priceless. Famous you are, peace of mind is priceless.